2024-2025 PVL All-Filipino Conference. On your screens, you have Abby Maraño, and she will be leading this revamped Chery Tiggo Crossovers team. And on the other side of the court, the young gun, we have Leila Cruz. A lot of questions surrounding her squad coming into this conference, and we're all going to answer that starting today. Now, a while ago, we saw the PLDT high-speed hitters defeat Nextled in 4 sets. Our game at hand, we have the Capital1 Solar Spikers taking on the Chery Tiggo Crossovers. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you may be. You can catch us on One Sports, One Sports Plus, and of course, the Pilipinas Live app. Hello and good evening, everyone. I'm Billy Capistrano, and joining me today, we have our courtside reporter, the very beautiful Lexi Rodriguez. And also joining us today is my very handsome partner, Doc AJ Pareja. And Doc, I'm going to start things with you first because there has been a lot of hype surrounding this conference, particularly because it is 6 months long, which is music to the ears of all our volleyball fans.
Yes, very big changes occurring here in the PVL, and I couldn't be happier because 6 months at least. Finally, the players have a long tournament to follow, and you can see it's a new format for us.
All right, 3 standard parts of our tournament format, starting off with our preliminaries. We have 12 teams who will compete in a single round robin, and they will be ranked in terms of their win-loss record, which then leads us to our qualifying round. So once the teams have been seeded 1 to 12, they will have one single game. You can see the matchups 1 versus 12, 2 versus 11, so on and so forth. Now the winners, the 6 winners of these games will then advance to our quarterfinals. However, all is not lost for the 6 losing teams because they have that chance to redeem themselves in the play-in tournament. And Doc, this is where things get a little bit more interesting.
Yes, of course, Billy. In the play-in tournament, the losing teams will be divided into 2 groups and will play 1 round robin, and the 2 teams who will emerge as the top teams in these play-in tournament will be able to join in the quarterfinals rather than this just the usual playoffs. In the quarterfinals, it's going to be a best-of-3 series, and the ones who will emerge as the top 4 will play for the semifinals.
So there you have it. Doc AJ explained that so perfectly for everybody, and here we have our semifinals.
Yeah, of course, it's semifinals 1, 3 to 4. So the ones who will be emerging as the top 2 teams in the semifinals will, of course, play in the finals or in the gold medal match, whereas the 3 and 4 will go for a best-of-3 battle for bronze. And for the finals, it's also going to be a best-of-3 battle for the gold.
So a lot of volleyball for the next couple of months. Safe to say we are in for quite the ride, and we all cannot wait again to see how things will pan out. I'm sure Pauline Gaston of Chery Tiggo can't wait as well. And also Iris Solenada, who is one of the leaders of the Capital1 Solar Spikers. But as always, Doc AJ, we take things 1 step at a time and 1 game at a time, which is exactly why we got to focus on this game at hand. Let's talk about our 2 teams even further. We start things off with a Chery Tiggo Crossover. So run us through what happened to them. What was the year that was for the Crossovers?
Yes, of course, not the tournament that has big changes, but also in the Chery Tiggo Crossovers, they have some big changes that will prove to be an interesting story for this run in this long conference. So first, since becoming champions in the 2021 Open Conference, they haven't earned a podium finish in their recent campaigns, placed 4th in the 2024 All-Filipino and 5th in the Reinforced Conference. But of course, they still have some core group of people that they can rely on to bring in the goods for this conference. Some teams, so of course, they had to rely a lot on Kat Bell for the scoring in the previous conference. But of course, they still have Aragalang, Jasnabor, and even rookie Karen Verdeflor. And they have sound leadership coming from Abby Maraño.
AJ, you mentioned a lot about the players, and obviously more than the players, the new man on the wheel of the Chery Tiggo car is actually Coach Norman Miguel himself. And I actually got to speak with him. When you shift from one team to another, when you shift from one coach to another, it's a totally different narrative. It's something that the players have to adjust to as well. But I got to speak with Coach Norman himself a while ago, and he told me that they started training back in September. And even though this training has been quite a roller coaster ride for him, he also told me that he's feeling, first day jitters as well, as this being his first game back here in the pros. And Doc AJ, obviously, it's your former volleyball player yourself. You recognize this kind of different shift from one coach to another. How different is that? How does that influence a player?
Yes, of course, each coach have their own system, have their own game tactics. So it takes time to really build up that trust and confidence between the coach and the players. But as long as the respect is earned, it's going to be easy to really implement the system that the new coach have on the Chery crossover.
Right.
And it's very interesting that at this stage in his career, he's a championship coach already in the collegiate league.
Exactly.
Ninenervous pa na talaga siya. And I think that happens to everyone.
Not even coaches, but even players.
Right.
Like, even playing at the highest level, you still get some nervousness and jitters.
And even with us, we all still get nervous every time we go on air, right?
And what they say, pressure is always going to be a privilege, right? And for Coach Norman Miguel, he's the right guy to steer the Chery Tiggo Crossovers to greater heights in this conference. All right, Doc, let's talk about the cast of characters now for the Crossovers. Let's talk about their lineup. I mean, we have a couple of holdovers, as you can see on your screens, and they will be holding the court down for the Crossovers.
So key returnees that we have, of course, there's Jen Yerva, but let's see if she's gonna suit up today. But of course, the holdovers, Abby Maraño, Bongay Gaston, and Ara Galang are expected to be delivering the damage or the points. So of course, and there's also Cez Robles, and one key addition is also Jules Amonte, who is a very versatile player.
And she will be playing alongside her bestie, Pauline Gaston. So you're taking a look at that lineup, a lot of a solid mix rather, of veterans, of young guns who are eager to make their mark here in the PVL. All right, let's switch sides this time. Let's talk about the Capital1 Solar Spikers. Same thing with the Crossovers. Doc AJ, talk to us about the year that was for this upcoming squad.
Of course, Capital One is one of the revelations here in the league. So they started their journey here in the PVL, somehow won the bottom teams, but in the previous conference, of course, with the big help of Marina Tushova. It was a pleasure seeing how much this team was able to go to higher ranks, especially in the previous conference. And the next challenge now is how will they replicate that kind of success here. Of course, they still have Coach Roger, but big shoes to fill, of course, for Marina Tushova.
Well, it's good that you mentioned this next kind of challenge, but Billy and Doc AJ, a challenge is never always a bad thing. Sometimes it uplifts you and motivates you to do better and to do good. And that's why for the Capital1 Solar Spikers, I actually got to speak with the players themselves, but Coach Roger, I want to focus on that because he told me that one of the things that they focused on was really the reception and working on that off-season, the filling in the shoes of Marina Tushova, as you, Doc AJ, mentioned. Obviously, it's really hard to fill in that kind. That's why it's the kind of occasion that creates this space to sort of, step up and rise into the occasion. That's why these players were really, really excited and we are definitely looking forward to see this player step up and rise to that kind of occasion. Well, Billy, what do you think? What kind of action are we expecting to see? Doc AJ, some insight on that as well.
Yeah, of course. So when it comes to Coach Roger focusing more on positive criticism, positive reinforcement, it's like for most of my indoor career, I came from a coaching style that is very kind of harsh or
medyo strict.
Very strict. All your mistakes are magnified. But when I had the pleasure of playing for the national team under a Brazilian coach, nagulat ako kasi every time that I do something good, talagang merong support too. And when I do mistakes, like he'll just run through what could be corrected. But every time you do something good, he's very generous with the compliments. And that's something that at the highest level, it's very, very helpful.
And I'm sure it's going to be very helpful for the players of Capital 1, especially because they are on the rise. Hayaan mo, mamaya, Doc AJ, kapag may sinabi kang tama, nice one, Doc. Yun yung
Great job.
Great job. Ang galing-galing mo. Yun yung sasabihin ko. All right. Anyway, let's get a little serious now. Let's talk about the lineup this time of the Capital 1 Solar Spikers. So far, same faces we're going to see in this squad.
Of course, same for Marina Tashova, who is the one who had the biggest impact in the previous conference. Of course, we're expecting a lot from this squad, what they have learned from the previous conference. Of course, gonna be Iris Tolenada who will be orchestrating the offensive strategy. But of course, we have Jorel Singh, we have Des Clemente, Leila Cruz, who is one of the biggest threat also here in Capital 1 Solar Spikers. Of course, the defense will be handled by Roma Doromal.
So very interesting to see how this young team will work here in our All-Filipino Conference. It's going to be our first look at this squad post Marina Toshova. But knowing Coach Roger and the rest of their leaders, I'm sure they know how to stand strong on their own, and that is something we cannot wait to see. Now, let me take this opportunity to thank everybody for watching us on Filipinas Live. Whether you're Team Bahay, you are in school, you're at work, or maybe you're just busy doing errands or you're abroad, thank you for joining us here. We love having you engaged in the conversation that we have all throughout this coverage. And I know that Lexi has a question for all our viewers on PL.
And as you said, Billy, the PVL is back and everyone is really back into engaging, and we wouldn't want to miss you guys. We miss you as well, and we know that the lively fans of the PVL is very much engaged here in the tournament. That's why our Filipinas Live poll question for you today is, which team will come up big defensively? So you can just scroll right down below the stream on the Filipinas Live app and answer the question. Is it the Capital 1 Solar Spikers or the Chery Tiggo Crossovers? You can also join in the conversation using the hashtag PVL2025.
So there you have it. We're just about ready to start this match. But before that, when we come back, let's listen into Abby Maraño and Iris Tolenada as they talk about the biggest questions surrounding their squads coming into this All-Filipino Conference. This is a PVL, the heart of volleyball.
Isa sa mga na-notice ko talagang big changes is happy yung team, hindi masyadong mabigat.
We've learned to be resilient with each other. It's more of our mentality and our mindset this conference. PVL, look out.
Yung mga changes na na-notice ko, one is everybody's really working na maging mature as individual and as an athlete. Mas nakikita kong mahaba yung pasensya ng bawat isa. Because those are the things that we were trying to really work out last conference.
Changes I've noticed from last conference with my team is that we're a bit gelled more since we have more experience together. On top of that, we've just learned more about each other's personalities on and off the court. I think teams will absolutely need to expect a dogfight with our team. We're an underdog team. We're still going for a high rank in the conference, so I think they can just expect us to continue fighting.
Despite that, may mga iba kaming players na nawala na sa team, ma-expect nila yung team na very hardworking and optimistic. Makikita mo yung players namin na sino yung nandito, lumalaban na Chery, pumapalag.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Phil Sports Arena, Pasig City, Philippines for match number 4 in the PVL All-Filipino Conference 2024-2025. This matchup is between the Chery Tiggo Crossovers and the Capital1 Solar Spikers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet our officials for this match. Our first referee, Bobby Celso, national referee. The second referee is Patrick Castillo, national referee. And now let's meet the starters. First, for the Chery Tiggo Crossovers. Middle blocker from De La Salle University, number 2, team captain, Abby Maranyo. Outside spiker from the National University, number 1, Ces Robles. Opposite hitter from La Salle, number 10, Ara Galang. Center from the University of Santo Tomas, number 11, Alina Bicar. Middle blocker from the Ateneo de Manila University, number 22, Pauline Gaston. Outside spiker from the University of the East, number 23, Shaya Adorador. Starting libero from Rizal Technological University, number 21, Angela Nunag. Head coach for Chery Tiggo is Norman Miguel. And now the starters for the Capital1 Solar Spikers. Outside spiker from the National University, number 8, team captain, Jorel Singh. Middle blocker from De La Salle University, number 5, Des Clemente de Guzman. Center from San Francisco State University, number 10, Iris Tolenada. Outside spiker from the University of St. La Salle Bacolod, number 12, Patty Orendain. Middle blocker from La Salle, number 16, Julia Ipak. Opposite hitter also from La Salle, number 22, Leila Cruz. Starting libero from the Ateneo de Manila University, number 19, Roma May Doromal. Head coach for Capital1 is Roger Gorayev. This game is held under the supervision and regulation of Games and Amusement Sports.
Back here at the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig as we bring you the game between the Chery Tiggo Crossovers and the Capital1 Solar Spikers. On your screen, starters here for Chery Tiggo. A couple of changes from their previous conference. Moving on to the side of the Capital1 Solar Spikers and their starters. Billy Capistrano here with Doc AJ Pareja. We have Lexi Rodriguez manning the sidelines for us in this match today. It is day 2 of our 2024-2025 PVL All-Filipino Conference.
And here we go, first serve.
So the big question that we have for today, Doc AJ, that a lot of people want to find some answers to for Chery Tiggo. How are the players going to respond now that more positions have opened up in the roster? And on the other side, for Capital1, will they be able to sustain that momentum from their reinforced conference?
So it's the usual lineup for Capital1 Solar Spikers, save for Marinda Tushova. Now the openers are Singh and Orindain, but the rest of the lineup is still pretty much intact. So let's see if they can step up in the shoes of Tushova.
For Chery Tiggo, we see Ces Robles starting here for Coach Norman Miguel. Chery Tiggo has the ball. They go to Robles. Straight to the net. That will be a point for Capital1. Early lead in our first set. Of course, Ces Robles also played under Coach Norman back in NU in season 81 and 82. Aragalang from the left pin. Tolenada will choose Ipak. Nothing yet. Oh, that's going to be a point here for Ipak as we send it over to Lexi Rodriguez. Go ahead, Lex.
Well, Billy and Doc AJ, earlier in the pregame, we did talk about this huge shift that the Chery Tiggo Crossovers are going through with this change of Coach Kung Fu to Coach Norman. And actually, just in time, Ces Robles is doing such a great job on the side of the Chery Tiggo Crossovers. I actually got to speak with her. And as you mentioned, Billy, Ces is actually a player under Coach Norman back in UAAP. And she shared with me that back then, Coach Norman was known for being a bit more strict, but rather than taking on the traditional role of a father figure, he was more of like a friend right now, someone you could have an easy and open conversation with. And that influence and that kind of coaching style is something that Ces has carried with into her own volleyball career, making her an even more valuable asset on the side of the Crossovers. And it's clear that this bond between them runs deep. But tonight, we'll definitely see a new side and a different route that the Chery Tiggo Crossovers are taking on. And obviously, they're not just here to win, they're here to discover a new version of themselves and maybe even surprise themselves along the way. Now back to you, Billy and AJ.
Thank you so much for that report, Lex. And we know Ces Robles, she was one of the leaders for that NU team back in her collegiate days. Nice to see her starting here for Chery Tiggo. As you mentioned, a lot of vacancies in terms of player positions here for the girls in red.
Still much to see from Ces Robles right now. So far, Capital1 is in control of the game.
A lot of confidence coming here from Capital1. But that's going to be an error for Leila Cruz. A little too low.
For Chery Tiggo, team captain
Abby Maraño, team captain, on deck to serve for the red shirts. Not the best of receptions here for the Solar Spikers. Chance for Chery Tiggo. They go to Aragalang, nothing. Tolenada back set to Leila Cruz. And that is wide for Cruz.
Back-to-back attack errors now for Cruz as Chery Tiggo cuts the lead to 1.
Bit of a shaky start for one of the youngest players here for the Solar Spikers. She averaged 6 points in the reinforced conference. Here comes Jurel Singh, and what a block!
A little too limited in the options for Tolenadas. Everyone, all the spikers are all bunched up on the right side, so it's easy for the blockers of Chery Tiggo to anticipate where she will set it.
Definitely a great read here for Chery Tiggo, but luck is on the side of the Solar Spikers. Up by 1, that was a service error from Abby Maraño. Jurel Singh also had a pretty impressive showing in the reinforced conference. Here comes Robles, power attack. Great blocking from the Solar Spikers. Tolenada, quick thinking. Tolenada again chooses Cruz. Ara waiting for it, and Ara delivers.
Aragalang finds the floor, catching Doromal off guard with that roll shot, with that drop shot rather. First attack point for the Crossovers.
That is point number 2 for Galang. And a lot of people have been saying this is a resurgence of Aragalang, and we love to see it. That is off the block for Orendain.
Orendain unfazed by the blockers, overpowering it to get a point, or still maintain the lead.
Ipak will serve for Capital One. Bicar will find Robles again. Popped up by Singh. Orendain tries another time.
Back-to-back points for Orendain, and save for just a couple of errors in the attack, the Solar Spikers are really showing that they're not a pushover team. And perhaps their tallest lineup, especially when Clemente and Cruz are up front, can be quite intimidating, especially for the left-sided hitters.
Absolutely. So far, so good here for Capital One. Robles. Great defense from the Solar Spikers. Babalik sa Chery Tiggo. Bicar goes to Gaston. Punches it through.
Good decision in the part of Bicar, as Clemente and Cruz were already expecting an open attack, just leaving a single block for Gaston on the right side.
Makes it a 1-point advantage here for Capital One. Robles will serve. That was a good one. Orendain. Quick recovery. And Adorador gets one for herself. We're now tied up at 7-all.
Adorador finding the gap between the block of Clemente and Cruz. Just going for a goal post, that's what we call it.
So this is a perfect time, Doc, for the players of Chery Tiggo to really step up. It's back with Capital One. Tolenada. Back to Leila from the right pin. Nothing. Scrambling for the ball. Orendain. Popped up by Ara. We got Cess Robles. Fiery start for her. Chery Tiggo leads 8-7. Crossovers, of course, breakthrough performance here for the girls in blue. And then on your screens, we see a couple of crossovers supporting their teammates. We have Janierva, Jasabor, and Aimee Hernandez. Cannot wait to see all of them play, hopefully very, very soon. Tolenada will find Leila. Oh, that's going to be an error on the part of a crossover. Point will go to Capital One.
Capital One holding on to keep this match as tight as possible.
The net touch violation called on Shaya Adorador. Shaya, one-hand save from Singh. Tolenada sends it over safely. Bicar to Gaston, met at the net.
Good anticipation on the part of Orindain, knowing that it's going to be a runner from Gaston. Just relying on hang time to catch that.
What a great start here for Orindain. That is her third point of the game to lead all scorers in her match. Gaston. Pauline will try one more time. Orindain from the left pin. The pass to Shaya. Tries. Tolenada. Chance here for Chery Tiggo. Shaya. That's another one here for Capital One.
One thing that really worked for them in the previous conference is their block on the net. Big factor there was, of course, Des Clemente. But in this time, it was perfect timing and positioning for Iris Tolenada.
And Doc AJ, you like to see the intensity, right? That Capital One is showing. Parang hindi first game.
Yeah.
Parang hindi nila first game with the way that they're playing. That's another point here for the Solar Spikers, as Coach Norman will talk things over and call for time.
Hindi patamahin sa block. And then I think kailangan itaas ang bola aninang para mas may option pagdaanin ka Orindain. Naintindihan? Wala namang problema kung nag-decide kayo hulog. Dapat meron din tayo sa ilalim. Hindi nagtatapos doon yung kung naghulog kayo. Naintindihan? Sige na, go! Mababa ang daan ng bola. Mababa ang daan ng bola. Ready sa pass.
Tara. Energy pa tayo. Taas natin. Anticipation, ha? Chery! On up! Let's go. Go.
So a while ago, we talked about the resurgence of Aragalang. What a great performance from her in the past couple of conferences that we had. Always reliable in the 2024 Reinforced Conference. She was their top local scorer. Great support as well here for Kat Bell.
Different position for Aragalang now. Usually, she plays open.
That's
and
right.
now in the opposite position.
It's been working in her favor as well, trying to help this Chery Tiggo team. There's no stopping Capital One. Chery Tiggo looking a little bit lost here in this first set. Four-point lead now for the blue shirts.
Perhaps the biggest lead of the match
That's
so
right.
far.
Will they be able to sustain this all throughout? Chery Tiggo needs to come up with something. Leila Cruz. Another attack error here for Leila.
Yeah, some struggles so far in the attacking game of Leila Cruz, but it's so nice to see her doing some back row attacks. It was still missing in the previous conference. I actually covered a couple of games, and that's what I noticed. Cruz is an imposing force in the net with her height and power, but not fully maximized because of the lack of a back row attack. But now it's so good to see that she is doing it.
And she's so young, Doc. The ceiling is so high for her. But in the meantime, let's take a look at this sequence. Great blocking from Alina Bicar. Much needed. Her team is down by 2. Tolenada with a 1-2 play. It's good. They did not see that coming at all, and we expect nothing less from Tolenada.
Even the defenders of the crossover also that it was a perfect pass from Singh, so they were expecting a set play from Tolenada.
Of course, you can't help but feel really happy for Iris. Finally finding a home here in Capital One and being that leader that this team needed. Iris finds Jorel. Bump set to Adorador.
Adorador finally finds an attack point. That's her second.
she cuts the lead down to 2 points. Tolenada to Clemente de Guzman. Gotta get used to saying that, Clemente de Guzman.
I think she was still Clemente in the previous conference.
Congratulations to her and her husband.
And in the couple of games that I covered them, she was like second to Marina. She was actually the one being an imposing threat in terms of offense.
And she did win second best middle blocker in the reinforced conference. And you like to see that growth under the leadership also and mentorship of Coach Roger Gorayev. It has ballooned to a 4-point lead. To attack points now for Clemente de Guzman. She will serve. Tolenada restoring order. They're going to sing. That's going to be a point here for Chery Tiggo. Too wide for Jurel.
Solar Spikers not gonna call a challenge on that. Still in control of this game.
You can also see it in their body language. Doc AJ, sabi nga natin, a lot of confidence here for the Solar Spikers. Oh, that's gonna go to Chery Tiggo. They'll call it outside. Still no challenges for Capital One.
A little tentative on the attack for Ipac. Hesitated while already mid-air.
That is a complete no-no because of that time frame that you have. Tolenada to Ipac. Nunag to Ara. Singh. Another attack error for Capital One.
It's similar to how the set started. Like they will be leading by up to 3 points, and it's their own errors that will help the crossovers to catch up.
Just a 1-point advantage now for the blue shirts in the first set. Adorador serves. That's gonna be a service error. Capital One leads us 16-14. Des Clemente de Guzman, do not disturb. 2024 Reinforced Conference best middle blocker, averaging 8.1 points per game during that conference. And much like Aragalang, who she was to Kat Bell, she was that great support for Marina Toshova.
Yeah, much deserved award also, and it's so nice to see that she has the growth that she had in the pros. Like when she was still back in college, she was tall but not much of a threat, but now she's really becoming or justifying that height with her game.
Also one of the main stars here for Capital One. As we get back to this game, Tolenada will find Leila. Still nothing for Cruz. Robles. Gotta commend the defense here of Capital One. Leila again. And the woes continue for Leila Cruz. That's going to be her fourth attack error early on, too.
Out of 8 attempts and no success yet, so still quite a struggle for Cruz.
But she needs to adjust pretty quickly to be able to help her team even more. 1-point lead, Capital One. Tolenada, bump set to Singh. blocked. Iris again to sing, different approach, still nothing. They find Galang, medyo pitin.
A little lucky for the Solar Spikers, still maintaining that lead with that error from Galang.
Back to a 2-point lead for the Solar Spikers. Robles. And Layla was right there, anticipating that from her. This block of the set is brought to you by East West Bank, the official bank of the PVL All-Filipino Conference.
Yan, malalaki yung block. Kabila kung puro out of system lang tayo. Easy game lang talaga sa kanila yan. Naintindihan? Ball control. Yun na lang ang option mo. Eh di ayos na lang ang set. Hindi na kailangan idikit pa sa net. Naintindihan?
Yes, yes.
Go!
Chery! On! Dito muna tayo.
You all know that Chery Tiggo, this is a revamped team that we're seeing in this edition of the All-Filipino Conference. Meanwhile, for the Capital1 Solar Spikers, we did say they had that breakthrough performance back in the Reinforce. A lot of confidence, a lot of intensity they're showing right now. Cruz sends it over safely. Chance. Pauline. Roma asking for it. They send it to Cruz. Babalik sa Capital1. Orindain. Bicar will find Ces Robles with a hammer. And it goes to Chery Tiggo, care of Aragalang.
Aragalang ends that mega rally with that good anticipation on the drop shot of Ipak. Coverage was there, but Tolenada hesitated because she assumed that Orendain will do the covering.
Lots of hustle from both these teams. Cruz finally gets one. That is point number 3 for Leila Cruz after numerous attempts. This spike of the set is brought to you by Duncan, pasalubong ng bayan.
That's the kind of attack that I'm really expecting from Cruz. With her height, with her power, just get it at her maximum reach. And it's gonna be hard for her blockers to even have a touch of that ball.
And if you're a Leila Cruz fan, you're expecting more of those attacks to come in this game. Orindain. Gaston with a quick one. Cagande. Tolenada to Cruz, and it will touch the antenna. And we also see Joymi Cagande now joining her teammates in place of Alina Bicar. Also another player who was under Coach Norman back in NU. That was seasons 81 and 82. Her teammate Ces Robles will serve.
So let's see if that's going to be the necessary change for the tempo of Chery Tiggo.
Jusamonte also making an appearance here for the first time ever for Chery Tiggo. She is on the court. Orindain, point number 4 for her. And Orindain has been a steady force here for Capital1. Leila will serve. They're up by 3. Cagande to Gaston. Orindain again. 2 straight points for Orindain.
Yeah, you can see by the approach itself that Orendain meant to make a point out of that attack. Going for a sharp angle, avoiding the blocker.
Joymi will find Shaya. Iris back to Orindain. Why not? 3 straight big ones from Pat Orindain.
He was the one who started strong for the Solar Spikers and now making a cause to finish this first set. 3 straight points coming from Orindain.
What a connection we're seeing between Iris and Pat Orindain. Here comes Leila with a serve. Join me. Jules asking for it. And her first point as a Chery Tiggo crossover. That is Jules Samonte. Making the switch from being a PLDT high-speed hitter. Still wearing red, of course. And playing with her bestie, Pauline Gaston. Speaking of
serving.
Yeah, she will be serving. It's with Chery Tiggo. They go to Jules again. Oh, this time outside for Samonte. Oh, there's going to be a challenge here from the crossovers. They're asking for a block touch on that sequence. Right now, Capital One holding on to a 4-point lead. Final stretch of our set number 1. Doc AJ, what can you say about Capital One? What can you say about Chery Tiggo? Starting a little bit shaky here in the first set.
So far, it's been Capital One who's more aggressive in their attack. They're able to set up a play better. Like coming. So far, Capital One has a better quality of their first touch, be it from a dig or a pass. Whereas Chery Tiggo, we're still looking for some clean attacks. They only have 6 successful attacks so far for Chery Tiggo, but lots of attempts.
As we see the results, and there will not be any block touch. I think that's pretty obvious from that video replay we just saw. It's an unsuccessful challenge here for the crossovers, and it continues for Capital One. Pati Orindain, very impressive performance in the first set. Cagande to Maraño, and the team captain encouraging her teammates to follow suit.
Signature Abby Maraño with that slide attack. As the double substitution will be employed again to bring back the starters, Bicar and Galang.
Iris to Jarrell, hammers her way through.
The open hitters of Solar Spikers starting to dictate the game for them.
It is an ode to Marina Toshova, who might be watching us, maybe, on Pilipinas Live. At any rate, set point na ang Solar Spikers. And Maraño, instant impact. Says not just yet.
Back-to-back points for the captain, Abby Maraño. Trying to gain some momentum for Chery Tiggo here at the tail end of the first set.
Shaya serving. Jarrell Singh! And that is it for that first set. Oh, there's going to be a challenge. They call that outside. A bit of confusion in that last sequence, but they will call it outside. Capital One will ask for a challenge, if I'm not mistaken. But a couple of discussions between our referees.
The players are asking that it's a check, not in.
At any rate, we will finalize this as a ball in, I believe, and ball out challenge. Remember, Capital One, they are at set point here. Chery Tiggo down by 4.
Yeah, so even if there's a check, as the players are claiming, but if turn out that the ball is out, then challenge won't be successful.
We'll wait and see what this final decision is. And a time also for the players to kind of regroup, especially for Chery Tiggo. We've had Abby Maraño with 2 straight points.
It is in though.
That's gonna be inside for the Capital1 Solar Spikers, which means they will take set number 1. That is a successful challenge for them. Much of the delight of Coach Roger and the rest of the Solar Spikers. They will take set number 1 from Chery Tiggo, 25-20. Capital One. Off the bat, they were aggressive. They were sticking to the system of Coach Roger Gorayeb, and they were showcasing that chemistry, which we could say maybe is the opposite of what's happening here for the Crossovers.
They're playing with much more aggressiveness, especially in the attack. So far, Capital One, in my count, has a better attack point. Yeah, as we can see here, 12 attacks compared to just 8 of the Crossovers, although blocks are tied at 3 and opponent errors cancel each other out. It's really the attacks of Capital One Solar Spikers that edge out the Crossovers in the previous set. So let's see if they will be able to regroup, as even the wings are struggling for Chery Tiggo. Adorador just had 2 successes out of 9 attempts with 1 error. Galang had 1 success but 2 errors out of 8 attempts, so that gets us a negative value. And Robles is the one who struggled the most, actually 1 success with 2 errors out of 12 attempts. So let's see how they will be able to regroup from that. And over on the other side, the Solar Spikers, even if Cruz was struggling a little bit finding her groove in the right side, Orendain and Singh were also starting to get things going for the Solar Spikers. And Des Clemente even had 2 out of 4 attempts in the attack. Has the highest efficiency so far at 50%.
So hopefully a better showing here for the Chery Tiggo Crossovers. A lot of question marks on the side of this team, rebuilding, welcoming a lot of new players, new faces, but still keeping their core as well. It's going to be a character building journey for them here in the All-Filipino Conference as we start set number 2. Ces Robles starting strong, nothing yet. Here comes Jorel Singh. Iris with her second 1-2 play of the game. with a no-look attack. 1-2 play for her. Reinforced conference. She averaged 4.9 points, so she is one of those scoring setters that we have here in the PVL. In the meantime, Patty Orendain, 6 points for her. Alina Bicar, bob set to Ces Robles. That will be a point for Capital One.
Robles now.
That is for Chery Tiggo.
So that will be a check ball.
Iris, the Des finds a way. Ara waiting in the wings. Off-speed attack here for Aragalang.
Much better start now for the crossovers.
Lots of adjustments need to be made for the squad. Singh, dug up. Alina to Abby. This time, Singh will try again. Some hesitation on the part of Alina Bicar as we turn it over now to Lexi Rodriguez. Go ahead, Lex.
Well, Billy and AJ, obviously what an electrifying start for the Capital1 Solar Spikers. And even without Marina, they took that first set with just enough energy to spare. Actually, Jarrell Singh in particular told me that she had extra hours to work off on her offensive power. She told me that off-season, she wanted to strengthen her attack, which is a skill that she really felt she needed improvement on to elevate her game. And obviously, it's been working well on her end. And tonight, we saw that hard work pay off as this offensive prowess added a whole new level of firepower to the Solar Spikers' game. And it's clear that the team has definitely a renewed energy and determination, not just to hold their ground, but to shine even brighter for this long conference. And as the match unfolds, expect more blazing action from this squad because the Capital1 Solar Spikers is just getting started. But Billy and Doc AJ, how do you suppose that can maintain their momentum all throughout this match?
Thank you so much for that, Lex. And it's also great to see Jarrell Singh back. She had quite a hiatus from the PVL, right? But great opportunity for her to kind of showcase again what she's always had since her collegiate days. And this block of the set is brought to you by East West Bank, the official bank of the PVL All-Filipino Conference. And take a look at that monster block from IPAC.
Perfect timing and perfect positioning for Cruz, so it was easy for IPAC to close in the gap.
Speaking of Layla, babalik sa Capital One. She'll try one more time. Alina to Shaya. Alina this time on the other side to Aragalang, popped up by Iris. Jarrell asks for it. We got a rally going on here, and we love to see it. It is still alive. Adorador. No one's giving up just yet. Layla. Alina to Shaya. And she is blocked by none other than Layla Cruz.
They struggle a little bit with the attack, but making up for it with that net defense.
Layla Cruz right now with 4 points under her belt. 2-point lead for Capital One. That is outside for Iris. They cut it down to just a 1-point lead. Coach Roger, of course, one of the most decorated coaches that we have in the country today. Abby serves. Layla. Shaya. Patty wasn't ready. Aragalang dug up by Orendain. Singh. Oh, it's still alive. Great defense for Capital One. Shaya again. You love that hustle from both of these squads. Adorador. Cruz. Oh, still playable. No whistle. But this time, it's gonna go to Chery Tiggo. What can you say, Doc, about the past few sequences early on here in our second set?
Yeah. For most of the rally, it was Chery Tiggo who was on the offensive. So you got to give a lot of credit on the floor defense of the Solar Spikers. Just failing at the execution towards the end.
They've been solid on defense. And Ipak has been solid in this game as well. 3 points for her.
Solar Spikers reclaiming that lead.
A much closer set that we're having here. As Alina will go to Pauline. Orinda in. Dug up by Bicar. Aragalang. Straight to the hands of Iris. Layla powers it through. Gets the point.
Much needed confidence booster for Cruz. That's her first attack point out of 8 attempts just in the set alone.
That is her 5th point of the game. I'm sure a lot of encouraging words from her teammates as well. Adorador is blocked. The towers of Capital One are standing strong. They are in the lead, 8-5. All-Filipino Conference. We got Layla Cruz. Currently has 5 points in this match. Alina Bicar leading this mini huddle with her teammates. Her and her team, they're down by 3 points in our second set. Now, Iris Tolenada has been the heartbeat, I would say, of Capital One. I got the chance to talk to her before the reinforced conference, and she said, you gotta watch us play.
Yeah.
And now that we're watching them play, it is a totally different team. Post Marina Toshova, but an excellent team at that. But what about Chery Tiggo? Fighting their way through, clawing their way through.
Adorador finally finds a solution to the Leia Cruz problem up in front of her, using the block to her advantage.
And for Chery Tiggo, Doc, this is a very talented pool of players. It's all about finding that system that works for them. Here comes Adorador. She's blocked. Robles sends it over. A chance here for the Solar Spikers. And they go to Cruz.
Cruz with that back quick attack. Iris Tolenada calling for a different play this time, and something that they may want to consider, as Cruz has been struggling with the higher balls, but she can just hit it quick with her height.
It's a great adjustment there from Tolenada, showing that she truly is a veteran. Ipak to serve. Chery Tiggo to Shaya. And that is all the block for Adorador. Using the hands of Layla Cruz. It's a 2-point lead for attack points right now for Adorador, and she will serve. Iris again to Cruz. Popped up by Karen. Shaya from the back. Des with a push. Single block by Patti Orlean on Pauline Gasol.
It's the defense of the Solar Spikers that is really keeping them over the crossovers. 3 blocks early on here in set number 2 compared to none. And as I mentioned a while ago, it's their floor defense also that is working for them.
They're just so in sync at this point. Ball still alive. Iris to Des Clemente. De Guzman. Huwag natin kalimutan, but that will be a point here for Chery Tiggo. Playing catch-up with Capital One. And we got a substitution here for Capital One. Good. Shola Alvarez checking in for Leila Cruz.
Much needed breather for Leila Cruz. She has been doing a lot of attempts in the attack here in set number 2.
And she's been working here in this game. Bump set to Orendain. No stopping. Patty at this point. 8 points for the veteran.
Much cleaner set in terms of attacks here in set number 2 for the Solar Spikers. No attack error to be seen yet.
Abby Maraño against her former teammate in Alvarez. Great blocking from Chery Tiggo. Hesitation on the part of Solar Spikers.
Never Maraño is up front. She's doing some wonderful things for Chery Tiggo, especially in set number 1 towards the end. She was able to chip in back-to-back attack points.
That is not going to help the case here for the crossovers. Straight to the net.
Back to a 3-point lead for Capital One.
Chance for the blue shirts. They go to Ipak. Single block. And that is why Abby Maraño is the kind of player you would want on your team.
Okay, and this is the perfect time for Chery Tiggo to really step on the gas in terms of their attack. It's perhaps the shortest front line for the Solar Spikers.
And they have to capitalize on that. Time to make a run for Chery Tiggo. Just at the net. It goes back to the blue shirts. Iris to Ipak. One hand save from Verde Flor. Ara tries. And Ara is successful.
And just like that, it's a 1-point deficit for the crossovers. That's the only downside if you cannot execute the slide attack, because you will be out of position in the turn, like in the case of Ipak. It leaves a 1-man block for Galang.
Singh. Shaya. Popped up by Doromal as Tolenada finds Jorel. Well, that's going to go the way of the Solar Spikers. But there is going to be a challenge called by the Chery Tiggo Crossovers. They were saying that there was a block touch on the part of the crossovers. That's why the point was awarded to Capital One.
Yeah. The crossovers denying a touch from that attack of Jorel Singh.
And at this point, this is going to be very crucial as well, Doc AJ, because it's a chance for Chery Tiggo, if this is a successful challenge, for them to tie this match here in the second set, and possibly an opportunity to go for a run, because Capital One has been dictating the flow of the match since the first set. But so far, so good. A great game that we have for everybody. Thank you for joining us on One Sports, One Sports Plus, and of course, Pilipinas Live. On this beautiful Tuesday evening. So waiting for the results of our challenge. Take a look. There is a block touch, so that's going to be unsuccessful for Chery Tiggo. The point remains with the Solar Spikers.
Ball scraping the forearm of Galang.
13-11 on the scoreboard.
The Crossovers lose one challenge.
One hand set. We have Abby trying to converse with our referee. Take a look at this, Dom.
Seems like he touched her shoulder first before hitting it with the right arm. But seems like the referees will
maybe review that last sequence. We have our referees trying to talk to each other, trying to come up with a call. Right now the score still stands at 13-11 in favor of Capital 1. And we have a referee's challenge. The referee's challenge.
There's going to be a replay. So there wasn't a double contact on Maranya's part.
So there you have it. Final decision. Point remains 13-11 in favor of the Solar Spikers. Alina Picar will go to Ara Galang. What a good save from Roma Doromal. Ara out of nowhere.
The fourth attack point for Galang. A much better showing here in the second set.
And this spike of the set is brought to you by Dunkin', pasalubong ng bayan. 7 points for Ara as Abby serves. Iris will find Shola. Gaston. Iris again to Alvarez. Abby sets up Adorador. Another rally we have. Here comes Jorel Singh. Pushes it through. The double contact violation called on the Chery Tiggo crossover.
Leila Cruz now going back in place of Alvarez.
Well rested and ready to go.
Could have been in the previous rally already.
2-point lead now for the Solar Spikers. Shaya. Great defense that Capital 1 has been showing us all night. Gaston. Pati Orinda in. Bicar to Shaya. Bump set. Here comes De La Cruz. Verde Flor will find Ara. Quick thinking from Ipa. And a smart play by Ara Galang. And this is something that she loves to do.
Aragalang so far the top scorer for Chery Tiggo here in set number 2 with 5 attack points.
Galang also one of the craftiest players that we have in the PVL right now. 1-point lead for the Solar Spikers. Make that a 2-point lead. Pair of Leila Cruz. So much potential that Leila Cruz has.
Tallest lineup again for the Solar Spikers. The best time to rack in some points.
Gotta maximize this lineup. Not when you have Aragalang on the other side.
Caught off guard the floor defense of Solar Spikers.
If there's anyone who can lift Chery Tiggo up, that's gonna be Ara. Clemente hesitated. Gaston!
Finally, a strong, clean attack for the slide for Gaston as they tie the game now at 15.
Smooth and steady for Pauline Gaston. We are now all tied up, as Doc mentioned. Who's gonna pull away first? Iris, back to Leila. And she said, that's gonna be me. As Capital One regains the lead here in the second, 16-15. Crossovers 16-15 is on our scoreboard. Des Clemente de Guzman, second best middle blocker in our reinforced conference, as Leila Cruz will serve. Gaston! Well, that's gonna sail outside for Gaston. A bit of a miscalculation for Pauline.
Much needed defensive stop for the Solar Spikers as they reclaim a 2-point lead.
And they're gonna aim to pull away here from Chery Tiggo. Ces Robles blocked. Alina, babalik kay Ces. Much better, but dug up. Ooh, ball still alive. Chance for the red shirts, and they go to Gaston. That's what you want to see from Pauline Gaston.
Good choice of attack for Bicar. Robles was heavily guarded in those previous attempts.
1-point lead for Capital One. 5 points for Gaston, who will serve. Iris. Let's ball out. And we'll go to the crossovers, and we are all tied up at 17.
A little too tight on the set for Clemente at that. wasn't able to wind up for her maximum reach.
Clemente tries again. Cés Robles blocked. Bicar to Adorador from the back row, and Iris sends it to Orendain. Again, great hustle, great defense from both these teams. But Cés Robles will be successful in the attack. A little too late for Roma Doromal.
Good decision mid-air by Robles to just go for a power tip. Doromal was expecting a power attack.
And now Chery Tiggo will finally get the lead from Capital One. Orendain, but not for long. That is the 9th point of Orendain in our match. She has been so reliable here in our game, Doc AJ. Varying her attacks as well.
It was through her late set 1 attempt that they were able to really make a distance from crossovers.
This is a 7th deadlock here in our second set. Robles popped up by Roma. Robles through the block with so much power, and that's exactly what she's known for. Ever since she was in NU, she is a powerful attacker.
3 successes out of 9 attempts for Robles, a much better showing compared to her first one outing.
They regain the lead. 1 point advantage for the Chery Tiggo Crossovers. Here comes Maraño. Roma asking for space, sends it over to Durel Singh, and it's still alive. Love that sense of urgency here for Capital One, but here comes Aragalang. Great hustle, and you gotta commend Chery Tiggo as well. Singh! Chery Tiggo says no. She'll try one more time. Verde floor was there. Robles with the hammer.
This is bad news for the Solar Spikers. You don't want to get Cés Robles going, but gotta give him a lot of credit to the defense of both teams in that mega rally.
As Capital One coach Roger will call for time, discuss a couple of things with the girls. Let's listen into this.
Si Des. Hindi ka na makahinga, mamamatay ka na. Halika rito. Halika rito. Ikaw yung malaki. Huwag mong pabayaan kay Iris yung joust. Ikaw yung malaki. Ha? Wala ka lang malalim. Wala yung... Dalawa na naman nila. Patapos na.
Fight, let's go. Side out, find a way. Let's go, Kapitan. One.
A while ago, we were asking who was going to step up here for Chery Tiggo, and clearly we see it's not just Aragalang, it's also Cés Robles, and she is more than capable of leading this crossover squad. Oh, that's going to be a violation now, called on Chery Tiggo, and she admits to it. Capital One down by just 1 point. You have Clemente de Guzman on deck to serve for the blue shirts. So that's gonna be a service error for her, much to the delight of the Chery Tiggo Crossovers fans and the team as well. 21 serving 19. A good serve. Singh. They go to Shaya from the left pin. Iris seeks Durel Singh. That's outside. What a comeback here for Chery Tiggo in the second.
Substitution for Capital 1, number 8, sitting out, number 15, Heather Tiggo in.
Finally back here in the PVL. They go to Heather, fresh from the bench. Back to Heather again. Adorador popped up by Cruz. Still Heather, and this time she will get the point after 3 tries. Third time is definitely the charm for Heather Ginoo. And she still got it too. Bekar, back set to Ara. Nandoon si Iris. Cruz. Cross court for Leila Cruz is good. 9th point in this game. As Chery Tiggo, Coach Norman will call for time.
Tuloy-tuloy lang, ha? Tsaga.
And then, come on.
And then, Abby,
Stay here.
bakit out of system na high ball, timing kayo, timing. Wait,
Let's go,
saka
let's
tumalon. Okay?
Chery, on top.
Ikot tayo, ikot.
Chery Tiggo Crossovers holding on to a slim 1-point lead here in the second set. We got Roma Doromal out of Ateneo de Manila University, team captain, former team captain of the Blue Eagles, has been steady on defense as well for the blue shirts. And how about Iris Tolenada? Sabi nga natin, siya yung heartbeat ng Solar Spikers. Adorador challenging the blockers of Capital 1. Aragalang varying the attack. Ginoo, and she is back.
What a spark plug for the Solar Spikers. Not to take away anything
Right.
from Jarrell Singh, but really made this comeback alive for the Solar Spikers here in set number 2.
And sometimes it helps when you're coming off the bench, because you can kind of see the things that you need to do and how you're going to adjust. Adorador will try. And Shaya will get her 5th point of the match. They regain the lead, 23-22.
Adorador dousing some cold water on that momentum of Capital 1.
Iris. And they have not found a solution yet, Doc. An answer to the force that is Heather Ginoo.
Came in late here in set number 2, given 5 attempts, 3 successes out of that. Now with the highest percentage out of everyone here in set number 2.
We are tied 23 all. Even a good serve from Heather. Bump set to Leila Cruz. They go to Shaya. She's blocked. It is back with the crossovers, and they will give it to Aragalang. Or in the end this time. That is a monster denial by the crossovers. Aragalang.
Quite the crucial block for Aragalang. Perfect timing against Orindain.
Chery Tiggo now at set point. Crucial times for Capital 1. And that is going to be a point for the crossovers. And we are tied 1 set apiece for both our teams. So whatever happens, we will be going to a set number 4 or even more. Great resilience by the red shirts in the second. Score here for our set number 2. 25-23 in favor of Chery Tiggo. In the late heroics of Heather Ginoo, Doc AJ, they were thwarted by Aragalang and the rest of the crossovers. You have Ces Robles, you have Shai Adorador, even Abby Maraño and Pauline Gaston putting in the work to get back on top here and to take that second set.
Definitely a much better showing for the crossovers. Robles and Galang were really the key point in that showing. 16 attacks compared to 15 of Capital1 Solar Spikers, and it was the blocks, especially towards the end of set number 2, that really got them to finish and take set number 2 from Capital1. Over on the other side, Capital1, Singh quite had a struggle, but good thing Ginoo was there to cover for her towards the end. But it was a little too late for them, as Chery Tiggo really stepped in the pedal towards the end of that set number 2. Orendain was there, but not as good as her showing in set number 1. And Cruz, much better showing compared to set number 1, but just had a crucial attack error towards the end.
Another question is for Chery Tiggo. Will they be able to sustain that momentum from that second set all the way here? As we take a look at our leading scorers, we have Aragalang with 10 points for Chery Tiggo, and of course Patty Orendain on the side of Capital1 with 9 points of her own, and we expect nothing less from these two veterans leading the way here for both of their squads. And this is the first game of both our teams, which is a good sign for them here in our All-Filipino conference. As we see Ipak on your screens, former lady spiker, now with Capital1, Iris Tolenada, of course, and the face card never declines for Miss Pauline Gaston. And how about Ces Robles starting in this match? Big shoes to fill. And of course, Heather Ginoo, spark plug off the bench for Coach Roger Gorayev. Set number 3 underway.
First serve to Alina Minar.
Clemente, single block. Ginoo. We got Shaya from the back row popped up. Heather waiting. Maraño bump set to Ces Robles, challenging the blockers. Heather again, a little too tight. She'll do it again, and she is denied. And Capital One, they're showing a lot of confidence in what Heather Ginoo can do.
Finding that spot after being covered with her cross-court attempts, just going for a roll on the line.
We also have Sid Niegos make an appearance in this game for the first time today. Galang! As we listen in to Lexi Rodriguez for her report. Go ahead, Lex.
Billy and AJ, buckle in your seatbelts because the Chery Tiggo Crossovers are gearing up for a long drive tonight. And obviously, they've worked hard on that third set. And hopefully, Alina Bicar is at the center of it. Despite some off-system moments, Coach Norman's influence on Alina's growth as a setter is evident in her confidence and precise ball distribution. Sabi ni Alina sa akin actually kanina that, working with Coach Norman has strengthened her decision-making, which helped her grow as a true playmaker. And obviously, actually, on the sidelines, I was observing that a standout moment was his smooth connection with Ces Robles because these two have worked on their chemistry off-court very well. And hopefully, with Alina's rising confidence and the team's fighting spirit across ovals will ride on their momentum and go on a journey that promises more than just points on the board. Billy and AJ.
Thank you so much for that report, Lex. We love to see Alina as well growing under the mentorship here of Coach Norman Miguel and building that confidence to be one of the main playmakers for her squad. A good start for both teams. We're tied up at 2 as Maraño will serve straight to the net with a look of frustration on Abby's face. Gives that point to Capital One as she apologizes to Coach Norman Miguel.
Some key changes also in the starters of Capital 1 Solar Spikers. Rivera now as the libero, Ginoo as the open.
Adorador fights her way through. That is point number 7 for Shaya. We can see, Doc, that Chery Tiggo mas gising na in this third set. A bit more aggressive than the previous sets that we've seen. They go to Leila on the right pin. Back set to Pauline Gaston with a running attack. Her specialty.
Much better distribution here in set number 3. Maraño with 1, Galang with 1, Adorador and Gaston with 1 apiece.
One-point lead for Chery Tiggo. Iris, back set to Leila. X marks the spot for Cruz.
Good play by Iris Tolenada, pushing it towards the right pin. He's leaving Leila Cruz with just 1 blocker.
Alina to Shaya. Impeccable defense from the Solar Spikers. Ooh, that's going to be ball out. And Iris now wanting to discuss some things with the referee.
They're making a cause that the ball went in between the antennas, but the referee will not honor that. Point goes to Chery Tiggo.
And the play continues. Crossovers up by 1. Iris to Sid Yegos with a quick one. What a beautiful play from the Solar Spikers. That's going to be Yegos' first point of the game. Take a look at this.
1-1 block against Gaston. Easy for Yegos to choose the angle.
We're tied at 5. Here comes Cez Robles. A little too strong for Robles.
Just like that, Solar Spikers now with the lead here in set number 3.
A lot of fight that we're seeing from both of these squads. Bicar finds Robles again. Pati Orinde in. Alina, babalik kay Cez. Blocked, but ball is kept alive. Dropped in by Ara Galang.
Lucky stop for the crossovers. Vera and Cruz colliding.
I think Ara was just aiming to send it to the other side.
No intention to make
That's
a
right.
point.
Pati siya nagulat after that point. Iris goes to Orinda in using the hands of the blockers. They're up by 1.
Better showing also by Solar Spikers here in set number 3.
So much closer set that we're having here in the third. Right off the bat, you know that these two teams are in it to win it. It's a 1-point lead for Capital One. Here comes Pati Orinda in. On deck to serve for the Solar Spikers, and that is a service ace. They're up by 2 here in our third set. We'll take a little bit of a break. We'll be right back. Phil Sports Arena in Pasig City, we got the Chery Tiggo Crossovers down by 2 against the Capital 1 Solar Spikers, led by Leila Cruz with 10 points under her belt in our match today. Alina Bicar has been orchestrating the plays for the Crossovers as Orinda In welcomes us back with a serve. Iris will find Heather, not this time. She's blocked. Easy over here. Bicar to Robles. Great composure from the Solar Spikers. Alina to Shaya from the back. Ginoo again. Nobody home. Nobody there for Chery Tiggo.
Ginoo showing that she's still a very reliable substitution or inclusion in the starter here in Solar Spikers.
Wala ka nang aabutan dyan. Pwede na kiara yan. Dito ka natutulong dyan. Diba? Dalawa kayo ni Libero. Diba? Sayang, oh. Mahaba lang yung pinalo na yun. Go! Tsagayin natin!
Isa lang, isa. Wala na tayo.
Kaya huwag nyo sanayin mo. Tulad nung kanina, nasa ibabaw yung bola. First attack na dapat kaagad yun. Nag 3 touches pa tayo. Diba? Go!
Come on, come on. Chery!
It is a 3-point push for Capital One as team captain Abby Maraño trying to lead this team. 3-0 run for the Solar Spikers. Momentum on their side. Chery Tiggo needs to come up with an answer. Rivera. Chance for the red shirts to go to Abby, of course.
Second attack point for Maraño just in this set.
Always expect Abby to be that one to start the fire here for the crossovers when and if needed. 2-point lead, Capital One. Alina Bakar with 9 excellent sets will serve. Ginoo. Cess from the left pin, popped up by Orindain. They give it back to Heather. Robles again, still nothing. Great defense from Patty. A little too short for Ginoo. Will give the point to the Chery Tiggo Crossovers.
A good intention to go for a roll shot as the floor was already spread out for the crossovers.
It's just a 1-point ball game. Diegos, powerful attack. Bicar to Aragalang. Rivera bump set to Heather. And that is point number 6 for Heather Ginoo.
Flat ball attack. Just going through the hands of the libero.
What a great addition to this Capital One team Heather is. That is ball out.
Cruz trying to go for a down the line attack, just overcooks it. Crossover still within 1.
Iris to Ipak. Great sense of urgency from the crossovers as they'll try again. Better this time. Julia's 5th point of the ball game.
And with that attack, all spikers for the Solar Spikers are now in the attacking board here in set number 3.
It is a total team effort here for the Capital One Solar Spikers. And Coach Roger did mention this before. They're going to bank on their chemistry and their potential. And we definitely see that in today's game. What about Shaya Adorador with her 8th point of the match? Great contributions as well for Chery Tiggo. She is the 2nd leading scorer for the red shirts. First one being Aragala. Chang Abby now with 6 points. Iris to Layla. Shaya. Alina, babalik kay Shaya. Off the block.
Adorador starting to come alive here in set number 3.
She scored 2 points points in the first set, 4 points in the second. And as Doc mentioned, now with 3. We are tied at 11. Heather Guinoo. Right on the corner for Heather. And what an impact, Doc AJ, she has made since she entered the court late in the second set.
Especially when she's up front, it's easy for Iris to give a safe decision or make a safe decision. Just pop it up to, or set it up to Guinoo.
Layla gets it, and she's feeling it as well. This spike of the set is brought to you by Dunkin', pasalubong ng bayan, and that is Layla Cruz for you, pure power. They're up by 2 points. Guinoo still serving for Capital One. Bicar sends this one to Shai Adorador. Patty. Bicar. Back to Shaya. Orindain. And that is off the block. Great positioning from Patty Orindain.
Gotta give a lot of credit to the floor defense of the Solar Spikers. Back-to-back good digs coming from Tolenada and Rivera against Adorador.
And so far, this is the biggest lead we've had this third set. 3-point lead for Capital One. Shaya waiting. Great defense from Guinoo. Orindain with a drop ball. Nandoon si Bicar. Galang. Stops the bleeding.
Just when it's needed the most, Aragalang step it up with her second attack point here in set number 3.
And Aragalang, as calm as ever, knows exactly what she needs to do. Layla Cruz, something out of nothing. Bicar with her own 1-2 play. Second point of the game.
Just like that, another 1-point deficit to go for the Crossovers.
Hard to believe, Doc AJ, it's only the first game for these two teams.
Yeah, well, especially with our format right now, every match really matters.
6-month time frame. That's gonna be great for everybody. Adorador popped up by Tolenada. They send this one to Patty. Alina, back set. Layla Cruz, nothing yet. And that was Pauline Gaston, now with 7. Joining the scoring party.
How many deadlocks have we had already?
We shall confirm. 8 deadlocks here in our third set.
Just the third set alone.
More to come, and we're only at 14. Orindain, outside. Medyo manipis.
Just like that, Chery is up. Galang has been consistent in putting the Solar Spikers out of system with her services.
And this is definitely quality volleyball that we're watching right now from both these squads. Orindain. Bicar. Pauline with a push. They find Layla. And Layla delivers.
The 9th deadlock here in set number 3. Layla Cruz with some assist from the net.
And a 12 point for Layla. And you like seeing how all the players on the court are helping one another, contributing in one way or another, whether that's on offense or defense. Julia Ipak serving. Alina with a 1-2 play. Julia was there. Patty with a recovery. Chance for Capital One. Iris will choose Niegos. Amazing defense for Chery Tiggo. They go to Niegos again. And she is denied. And our players on the court today, they are doing work, especially Leila Cruz on your screens. Capital One leads 16-50. Arena, especially that girl on your screens, Patty Orindain, leading the way for Capital One. And what about Leila Cruz? Right now with 13 big points in her first match of the conference. Shaya Dorador as well with 9 of her own. And we are welcomed by a service ace from Julia Ipak.
Well, this is pretty good serve. It had a perfect flight, perfect height, and it was on the perfect location in between the seam of Adorador and Robles.
Biglang bawi naman ang Chery Tiggo, cutting the lead down to just a single point.
Robles now up front, and at the best time for the crossover. She was the one who really did some damage towards the end of set number 2.
And they need that push here. Iris will find Patty. Robles. Leila again. Right on the money for Leila.
Cruz playing the best set so far. Her best set so far here in this match.
Remember, she did start out a little bit shaky, but look at her now as Chery Tiggo, Coach Norman, again, will call for time.
Pwede yung pwestuhan ka agad yan, naintindihan. Nandun naman yung katawan yan eh. Di talagang cross na talaga siya. Kailangan may mangyari sa ilalim sa atin. Hindi tayo makakalaban kung walang nangyayari sa ilalim. Naintindihan, puro tayo out of system na. Naintindihan? Go! Dalawa lang yan, dalawa.
Lagay natin to, ha? Walang susuko, come on, come on.
Advantage, maliliit ang blocker nyo sa harap. Kailangan ng ilalim.
Let's go. Chery, on top! Ilaban natin to.
And you heard it straight from the Chery Tiggo Crossovers, our team captain, Abby Maraño. Ilaban natin ito. And that is going to be their battle cry for tonight against the Capital1 Solar Spikers, where everybody is contributing one way or another. As you mentioned, either that's on defense or offense. Everybody putting in the work. Especially Pauline Gaston for Chery Tiggo. In the reinforced conference, Pauline was averaging 5.78 points per game. Right now, she has 8, and her team is down by 1. Something out of nothing for Iris Solenada and Patty Orindain. They increase the lead to 2. Bicar to Cesar Robles. Back to a 1-point advantage for Capital One. Ginoo fighting her way through, makes it a 2-point ball game once again. And how about Aragalang, Doc AJ? I love that everybody has an answer back. When one person scores from the other team, siguradong may sagot yung kabila.
Galang also with 3 out of 5 attempts, 60% efficiency.
Iris to Julia with a running attack, perfectly executed.
This is the kind of volleyball I like watching. Like, yung sagutan kagad in just one attempt, or it's just
snappy.
one. Yeah.
Very snappy and right on point. It really shows, you know, the resilience of these two teams and how prepared they are to face one another. Layla will try, this time unsuccessful. How about Shaya? It's still alive and they set it over to the blue side of things. Ipak asking for it. Bicar over to the other side. Heather Ginoo for the drop. Look at that defense from Alina Bicar. It's still alive. Roma will safely send it over. Chance for Chery Tiggo. Here comes Aragalang. And of course she will. Of course she does.
4 big points for Aragalang here in set number 3.
What a treat for all our fans. Day 2 of our All-Filipino conference. We have a substitution on the side of Chery Tiggo.
Gotta commend the floor defense being shown by both teams.
We have Dapstapol on the court for the first time today. Capital One with a slim 1-point lead. Iris to Heather Ginoo using the hands of the blockers. Off the bench. And off the bench, we have Dapol with a contribution. And with that, Capital One will be forced to call for time.
Una natin dyan, sipag eh. Konting pawis, mananalo na tayo. Hindi yung malaking kumpiyansa, hindi pa naman tapos yung laro eh. Ano pa kayong dalawa? Konting sipag, masyado ka ng maraming aero dito sa likod.
Do whatever it takes to win the point. Let's go. Capital One.
As per Coach Roger Gorayev, konting sipag on the side of the Capital One Solar Spikers. And I love that Iris had little tidbits of wisdom injected at the end as well. But how about the Chery Tiggo Crossovers? Dapol off the bench scores a point. But coming off a timeout, that is something that you do not want. Service error from Abby Maranyo gives that free point to the Solar Spikers. Very, very close third set. We have right now 22-21. Heather Ginoo on deck to serve. Dapol to Galang. Orinda in, easy over. Alina to Ara, popped up by Iris. They send this one to Layla. Babalik kay Ara. Great anticipation. It's still alive. Orinda in. Still alive. Oh, that is going to be 4 touches, though. Called on Chery Tiggo.
What a crucial point in favor of the Solar Spikers.
Chance here for Capital One. They're up by 2 points, 23-21. What is Chery Tiggo going to do? How are they going to answer back? Bicar to Gaston. Orinda in from the left pin. They set it to Dapol. She's blocked. Ara waiting in the wings. And as always, you can count on Ara Galang to deliver when needed.
5 big attack points for Galang here in set number 3.
Ara Galang is the moment here for the Chery Tiggo Crossovers. Crucial substitution. Jules Samonte checking in for Bicar. Julia Ipak now coming alive in the third. Capital One at set point.
Ipak also 3 big points out of 6 attempts. Respectable 50% efficiency. Kagande now in for Galang. I was wondering who was going to be the setter in that previous rally.
Joymi finds Jules. Pati Orinda in. She is denied. She'll try the second time. Joymi sends it over to Jules. And she is blocked. The Capital One Solar Spikers take the third set from the Chery Tiggo Crossovers. And this block of the set is brought to you by East West Bank, the official bank of the PVL All-Filipino Conference. And what a way to end the third set for the Capital One Solar Spikers. They take this one from Chery Tiggo, 25-22. Said that was Doc AJ. We've been saying it constantly. What a treat for everyone watching today. Truly quality volleyball that we are witnessing from both these teams. Most especially Capital One for holding their own in that third.
Yes, definitely, Billy. We were saying it like for the entire third set, it was a neck match. Where no team was really making a big lead against each other, but it was a good substitution for Ginoo to come in for the Capital Spikers. Niegos was also able to provide some points in place of Des Clemente. Even if they were out-attacked by the crossovers, some crucial stops, especially with the blocks and the aces, is the one that really determined the game. Over on the other side, for Chery Tiggo Crossovers, Galang was really remarkable in that set, as well as Gaston and Maranyo also chipped in some points. But it was the wings, or rather the open hitters, Robles and Adorador, who was kind of missing in the picture compared to set number 2, where Robles was just on fire.
And now we're slowly, starting to see the identity of these two teams. And that was a big question prior to this match. But now slowly starting to unravel the kinds of teams that they are. Thank you for joining us here on Pilipinas Live. Again, Chery Tiggo Crossovers versus the Capital1 Solar Spikers. This is it, set number 4. Billy Capistrano with AJ Pareja. We got Lexi Rodriguez manning the sidelines, giving us the latest from these two teams in our match. Orendain serves, Bicar will find Robles challenging the blockers of the blue shirts. They go to Ginoo, doing the same thing. Bicar to Dapol from the back row. Ginoo, same spot, nothing. Robles blocked. Ara, still nothing for both these teams. Here comes Leila Cruz. Abi Maranyo. That elusive first point. Bicar finds Robles. And Sid Diegos draws first blood in the 4th as we send it over to Lexi Rodriguez. Go ahead, Lex.
Thanks, Billy. Well, obviously, Leila Cruz has been a standout with that consistent aggressive plays for the past 3 sets. And obviously, what makes this more interesting is that she's just recovered from an injury. And actually, I spoke with Leila earlier, and she told me that she feels that she's almost back at 100%. She's definitely ready to push herself more and lead Capital1 wherever they need to go. In fact, even if you ask their team captain, Jarell Singh, she'll tell you that Leila is a player you can definitely count on no matter what. Even back in her De La Salle Green Archer days, Leila's heart is in every game. It's her strong drive, the unwavering resilience that she has that's making all the difference on the court tonight. Now back to you, Billy and Doc AJ.
Thank you so much for that, Lex. Yeah, Leila Cruz, we all know that she did suffer that injury back in the UAAP in La Salle and really climbed her way back up and worked really, really hard to get to where she is now. And it's only just a beginning for this young gun. We can say the same thing about Ces Robles. And these two have met before at the collegiate level, leading both their squads. Robles now with 6 points.
Another close start for both teams here in set number 4. Of course, Chery Tiggo wouldn't want to give this.
That's going to be a service error, 3-point given to the Solar Spikers.
Each match here in the qualification phase, or the preliminaries, is very important because every match will determine your ranking. Of course, you would want to get the higher ranks to have a relatively easier opponent.
You want an advantage coming into the qualifying round. And that is why everybody fighting for their spot. Galang rolls it over. Doromal bump set to Leila Cruz. Varying her attacks, being smart about her attacks as well.
As long as she hits it at the high point, it's gonna be a higher efficiency regardless if she goes for a power attack or a roll shot.
Dapol using the hands of her blockers.
Dapol coming in for Adorador in the previous set.
Team captain Abi Maranyo on deck to serve for the red shirts. Her team is down by a single point. That's a good serve from Abby.
Another deadlock here in this match.
And a confidence booster for her. She's had 3 service errors.
Aces. Or aces, rather. Or errors. Okay.
So it's a confidence booster. Well, some discussions here. Play continues. We're tied at 4. De La Cruz again. Alina chases it and gives it to Ara. Ginoo. Robles sends it over. Chance for Capital One. They go to Julia with a quick one. Again, Doc AJ, you love to see this kind of volleyball from Capital One, where everybody is just doing their job. And right now, Ara for Chery Tiggo with 16, Capital One, De La Cruz with 16 as well. The leading scorers in our match going head-to-head in the 4th set.
Both former Lady Spikers and both opposites for their respective teams, so it's nice contrast.
That's right. Great competition for these 2 players. Ball is still alive. Ara restores some order. That is outside this time for Julia Ipak.
They've been capitalizing on that play, that X-play. Ipak going for the slide and Cruz going for a middle attack.
We're tied at 5. Again, as you mentioned, Ara with 16 points, so that's going to be a service error. And at this point in the match, where you both know that these 2 teams are out to win, yung mga error na ganyan, you cannot have them at any point in the set.
Regardless if it's the early part of the set, it will be magnified later on.
That's right. Alina to Dapol. There is a check. There is a check.
Dapol proving to be a good substitute for Adorador. That's 2 back-to-back attacks out of 5 attempts.
Instant impact for her. Another deadlock early on in the 4th. We're tied at 6. But the errors, and that's exactly what we were saying, Doc AJ. Those errors will come to haunt you in the end.
Yeah, because they're playing catch-up and they're able to tie the score. But if they're going to commit errors, it's going to be hard for them to make a conversion.
Service errors piling up now for Chery Tiggo. Alina goes to Cess. They find Patty. Cess again. Much better this time with the help of the net for Cess Robles. Point number 8.
Robles patching the gap between Zone 5 and Zone 6. Not heavily guarded by the floor of Capital One.
You have Seth Rodriguez now joining her teammates on the court. Middle blocker. She will serve. Niegos. Bicar, babalik na naman kay Robles. Down the line for the former Lady Bulldog as Chery Tiggo regains the lead 8-7. on Pilipinas Live. And before anything else, you want to say a happy birthday to Miss Rhea Navarro, PVL Director and Head of Media and Public Relations. So happy birthday. I wish you a great day, a great evening ahead. In the meantime, back to this game. We got Capital 1 at 7. Chery Tiggo with a lead, 8 points for them. It has been a back and forth affair for both of these teams, most especially here in the fourth. Team captain Abby Maraño, game face on as Seth Rodriguez will serve for the red shirts. Powerful attacks coming from Robles. She's gonna try one more time. Or in the in. Different approach. Dapple from the back. Blocked. And great placement, quick thinking from Iris Solenada.
Good option for Iris to just push it to the corner of zone 5 after the spikers are getting blocked by Chery Tiggo, just to change the pace up a bit.
Another deadlock at 8 points. 7 deadlocks here in the fourth. Since Robles breaks away.
4 big points for Cesc Robles here in set number 4, making up for lost time in set number 3.
She only had 1 point in that third set. She has 10 right now. What a smart move by Iris Solenada.
Iris Solenada just putting in those 1-2 plays at the best time.
And reading the defense of Chery Tiggo so well. Bekar finds Ara. Leila sets up Heather. Alina gives it back to Ara. She's denied. That is a block by Abby Maraño. You have Iris trying to put on her spiking hat. Not this time, says Abby. Almost, but not quite. It's back with Capital 1. Solenada to Ginoo, but that's going to be an error, double contact. And she acknowledges it.
Just like that, 2-point lead now for the Crossovers. Cesc Robles still on the serve.
Here comes Heather. Ooh, that's going to be a point for...
The ball is too tight on the net. Nothing Ginoo can do about that, unfortunately.
Chance here for Chery Tiggo. This is the biggest lead in the fourth. 3-point lead. Ginoo, nothing. Alina to Dapol. Ginoo again. She's blocked. Great cover from Iris. Dapol. We got Julia. Alina, back set to Aragalang. Great rally from both these teams. A little miscue from Alina Bekar, who apologizes to her teammates. Abby tells her it's okay.
Just cancel out the setting error of Iris a while ago.
Quits lang. 2-point lead for Chery Tiggo. Bekar. Aragalang. Heather popped up. Alina to Dapol. The spark plug off the bench for Coach Norman Miguel. That is Dapol for you.
3 points already for Dapol here in set number 4.
And a 3-point push for Chery Tiggo.
It's as if Adorador didn't leave the floor here.
Dapol. Leila waiting. Aragalang. Iris asking for space, gives it to Heather. Ara. We have the Capital One girls asking for a challenge here. The point was awarded to Chery Tiggo.
I think the call was off the block.
Yes.
The blockers of Solar Spikers are denying any touch or contact with the ball.
So a crucial challenge during a crucial part of our set number 4, where Chery Tiggo is holding on to that 3-point lead. And I believe this is the biggest lead that we've had in the 4th set, which says a lot, Doc AJ, about how good this game is.
So there is indeed a block touch, so ball goes for the crossovers. So the Solar Spikers will lose the challenge.
And now it is a 4-point lead. Biggest one of the set. Capital One, they need answers. Still nothing for the blue shirts. And what do you think is going on here in the side of Capital One? But before you answer that, Doc AJ, let's listen in to this timeout called by Coach Roger Goreyev.
Bilisan nyo yung pagko-cover. Hindi po pwedeng tatakbo kayo doon. Ibig sabihin, nag-coverage na kayo. Eh, ang layo ng bola, hindi man lang nyo sinundan yung bola eh. Habulin nyo, 5 na yung lamang eh. Pag namagaya, nahirap habulin niya, magpipipset pa tayo. Eh, hindi natin sigurado yan. Sige.
Capital One!
A sense of urgency much needed here for Capital One, as Coach Roger mentioned during that timeout. But back to the question that I asked you, what do you think is happening here on the side of the blue shirts, Doc AJ?
Yeah, it's the quality of their first contact, the pass or the dig. It's not conducive enough for Telenadas to set up the play. Her Spikers just combining for 4 points all in all, and Robles has 4 points on her own.
So that says a lot. That says a lot about the firepower that Chery Tiggo has in the 4th. They're up by 5. Ginoo is blocked. And that is something that you do not want to see coming from a timeout, as Chery Tiggo will lead us to our second technical timeout, 16-10. The Phil Sports Arena, Billy Capistrano with Doc AJ Parehan, Lexi Rodriguez manning the sidelines for us today. A couple of conversations on the side of the Chery Tiggo Crossovers, and they must be happy because they're up by 6 against the Capital One Solar Spikers, who've had a bit of trouble with her game here in the fourth set. A lot of adjustments that need to be made by Capital One, that need to be done rather by Capital One if they do not want to force that fifth and final set. De La Cruz with 16 big points in the match today as team captain Chang Abi Maraño preparing to serve for the red shirts. Jarrell Singh is back on the court for Coach Roger. Dapple. The denial by De La Cruz.
Much needed stop for the Solar Spikers. That block coming from Cruz.
A confidence booster here for the Solar Spikers as well. Sabi nga natin, here comes Jarrell Singh. She is back. Bikar to Ara. Great defense from Iris. Leila Cruz again. Back set to Ara. A soft touch. Cruz off the hands over the floor. That's gonna go to the Solar Spikers. But there will be a challenge as expected here from the Chery Tiggo Crossovers. Oh, there's a fair play. Fair play moment. So Julia Ipa admits to the check in a fair play moment. Point goes to Chery Tiggo. So far so good for the Crossovers. Orinda in, block. Blocking has been good. And it continues. Doc AJ here for the red shirts.
Rodriguez is proving to be a good substitution coming here in set number 4, providing a lot of net defense. A couple of blocks also in her part.
7-point lead for the Crossovers. Leila changes that though.
Those are the much needed plays by the Solar Spikers. Good pass so that Iris can set a fast one to Leila Cruz from the right side.
And we need more of those plays, but as Doc AJ mentioned, first ball very important. Alina bump set to Ara, back row. A little too tight. Regalo here for Rodriguez.
Formidable net defense being shown by Rodriguez.
As Capital One, Coach Roger, napakamot na lang ng ulo, will call for time.
Kung babalik naman sa kundi, wala din mangyayari. Kontrolin nyo. Kung naman Jorel, isisit mo dito, nandun sa harap mo yung papalo. Ano ka ba? Lamang sila, hindi tayo ang lamang jo. I-remind ko lang kayo, nag-ahabol tayo, ha? Sige.
Panuel! Capital! One!
Can sense the frustration on the part of Coach Roger Gorayev. No matter how calm his voice sounded during that timeout, you could really sense that frustration. Right now, his team struggling to play catch-up here in the fourth.
Yeah, perhaps the biggest lead in the match. Because the first three sets have been like
very close. Dapo serves. Iris finds Sid Diegos. Return to sender. Everything going right for Chery Tiggo.
Set Rodriguez, I think that's her third block point or fourth, just here in set number 4.
That's her third. 8-point lead for the Crossovers. Oh, that's gonna sail outside. A little too strong for Dapol. It's gonna be an uphill climb for Capital One here in the fourth. That's a good serve. Out of system. Pati Orendain. Ces Robles gets it through.
It has been a Ces Robles show here in set number 4. That's her 5th attack point.
And her 11th point of the match. It's great to see her, being given that opportunity to really step up for Chery Tiggo. Iris finds Orendain. No stopping. Pauline Gaston and the rest of the Chery Tiggo Crossovers. Got to take a look at this one.
6 big blocks for Chery Tiggo.
And it looks like
number 4.
Doc AJ, we might be going to a 5th and final set. Diegos off the block, and finally something here for Capital One.
Almost another kill block for the Crossovers. Robles just not in the perfect angle.
Alvarez is back on the court for the Solar Spikers. Joymi chases it. A little too low for Ces Robles. Alvarez continues to serve. Unfortunately, that is going to sail outside. That is a point given to Chery Tiggo. 2 points away from claiming the fourth.
Not the best time to commit a service error. That's the first service error, actually, here in set number 4 for the Solar Spikers. But still, it's towards the end of the set. So
we have
very much magnified.
That's right. On the side of Capital One, 24 excellent digs for Roma Doromal. Chance here for Chery Tiggo. Aragalang. Jurel Singh. Iris Tolenada is trying to be that leader here for the Solar Spikers. Taking matters into her own hands. That's her 6th point of the game. You see so much passion, right, in the way that she plays. Bump set. Chance here. Iris. Galang with a drop ball. Good cover. This will go to the Solar Spikers as Coach Norman will gather the girls and call for time.
Lagay ng blocker doon. Naintindihan? Kung may magandang pasa tayo, easy set dito. Side out push tayo. Okay? Ito muna. Okay? Go!
Salang. Let's go, guys. Sorry. On top. Breathe in. Mga pasa sa head.
Crucial times here for both our teams. Chery Tiggo Crossovers holding on to that lead. Scoreboard reads 23-17. Alina Bicar has been the main playmaker for Coach Norman Miguel in their first match of the conference. And how about Karen Verdeflor with 23 excellent digs and 4 excellent receptions. That's a free point for Chery Tiggo. Set point na ang crossovers, which means we might be going to our first 5-setter of the conference. Robles to serve. If you're Capital One, just want to finish this set strong. Dapol. Jorel is blocked. Chola saves it. Babalik kay Singh. Gets it through the block.
Not just yet.
There is a chance, a very slim chance. But if you're Capital One, you'll try anyway.
Full front line still for the crossovers.
Colenada serving as Bicar will find Aragalang. And she will give an exclamation mark here in our 4th set. She will end it with a bang.
Much needed one for Aragalang. That's her one and only attack point here in set number 4, but
tignan mo naman.
the one that finished it off.
At kung kailan ba kailangan ng Chery Tiggo Crossovers, she is there. She is present. Chery takes set number 4, 25-18. Filipino Conference, and we have been saying this all throughout this game. What a match between these two teams. Very obvious that they both prepared for one another. What can you say about that set 4, which was arguably the best set that we've seen from the crossovers?
Yes, definitely. They were neck and neck in the initial phase of set number 4, but towards the middle and to the end, that was when they were able to make a big separation from the Solar Spikers. Attacks, not much difference, but the story there is majority of the attacks from crossover is pretty much coming from Cesc Robles, who has really come alive in set number 4. And even the combined number of attacks for Solar Spikers are actually matched by Cesc Robles alone. Galang had just one, but it was the one that finished off the set. Had some support from Dapol, but a lot of block points coming from Rodriguez herself when she was brought in here in set number 4. So Chery Tiggo just really outplaying Solar Spikers in all those aspects in set number 4.
A lot of magic bunots on the side of Coach Norman Miguel. We got Dapol, we have Seth Rodriguez as well. But now let's take a look at the leading scorers for both these teams. For Chery Tiggo, Aragalang, 19 big points. And for Leila Cruz, who we just saw on your screens, 18 points for her to lead all scorers for the Capital One Solar Spikers. The showdown of our opposite hitters, both former Lady Spikers. We have Abby Maraño, their team captain, with the clips in her hair, with that game face on that we all know so well, and she means business in this 5th and final set.
Interesting decision in the part of Coach Norman, bringing in Robles. Oh, I'm mistaken. So Robles is still as the first open, because she was standing at the second open position a while ago.
So this is it.
So still the same lineup.
That's right. And we cannot wait to see how this fifth set is going to pan out from both of our squads. We expect nothing less given the quality of volleyball that we have been witnessing the past couple of sets. Defense on point, offense as well, lots of teamwork, everybody contributing.
Singh is back as a starter. Niego still in place of Clemente de Guzman.
Robles starts us off, or in the in. Doromal sends this one over. It's a chance for the red shirts, and they give this to Ces Robles. Bump set to Singh. Alina to Aragalang. Too much sauce.
Aragalang building off that exclamation point from the previous set.
That is a 20th point of Aragalang. As we see Ces Robles getting ready to serve 11 attack points for her. Iris to Jarrell. Down the line for Singh.
That has been missing in the early parts of this match. Those power attacks coming from Jarrell Singh.
So a fiery start for both our squads in the fifth set. Bekar to Abby, nothing. Ipak. Play continues. And we have Chery Tiggo contesting something here. They will be asking for a challenge. So that was a sequence before this off-the-block attack from Jarrell Singh.
They were contesting that the attack of Ipak didn't cross the net.
Over.
Yeah.
So now what they'll have to do is find that exact sequence where it happened. A bit of a breather for our teams. Again, it is a challenge called by the Chery Tiggo Crossovers. We are tied at 1-all. Early beginnings of our set number 5. The Capital1 Solar Spikers, I believe, have never won against the Chery Tiggo Crossovers. Back in the All-Filipino Conference, they only won a single game. That was against Strong Group Athletics. Oh, that's going to be 4 touches. 4 touches called on Capital One. Successful challenge here for Coach Norman Miguel and the rest of the red shirts. The score now is 2-1 in favor of the Crossovers. As play continues. Iris. Singh is blocked. Good cover from Tolenada. Singh again. Nobody there for Capital One.
Good eye by Dapol. Everyone were bunched up in the middle.
Just
pushing it in the corner of zone 1.
Great read of the court from Dapol. Early lead for Chery Tiggo. They're up by 2. Chang Abi will serve. Roma sets up Jarrell. And a denial by Seth Rodriguez.
Fourth block point, if I'm not mistaken. Rodriguez being an imposing figure for the net defense of the Crossovers, as Ginoo is put back in, and let's see if she can be a spark plug once again.
Now you can really see that the confidence has shifted over to the side of the crossovers. Bump set to Ginoo. Alina to Dapol. Ginoo again. Finally something here for Capital One. And she proves to be a spark plug off the bench here for Coach Roger Gorayev.
Much needed point, because a point for the crossovers in the previous round would have really shifted the momentum.
Blue shirts down by 2. Bicar to Aragalang. That's gonna go to Chery Tiggo.
It's those kinds of errors that really kills your momentum.
Coach Roger disappointed, frustrated. His team is down by 3 in this very crucial 5th set. Galang now has 20 big points. Iris finds Heather. And Alina had her back turned. Gave that opportunity to Heather to score that point off the block. They're down by 2.
But you know, with back-to-back points, a much-needed one, just to keep the gap close. And what a touch block by Cedric.
2-point lead for Chery Tiggo. That's a good serve. It's kept alive. Great defense from Chery Tiggo. Cruz. Alina to Cess from the back row. Straight to the hands of Heather. Here comes Orinda in. Oh, it's going to hit the antenna. Automatic outside for Orinda in.
It's really these errors that you wouldn't want to be committing. You're on the offensive already.
You gotta be stable, you gotta be steady. Especially when you know the momentum is on the side of Chery Tiggo. That's her second one, I believe.
Yes.
Third one. And a little too strong again, much like the one she had in the 4th set.
Another opportunity given to the Solar Spikers.
The question is, how are they going to capitalize on this opportunity? Alina to Ara from the back. Unstoppable, this one.
2 out of 3 for Ara Galang. Also out of 3 for Ara Galang. Also showing that she can hit from the back row as expected of an opposite hitter.
Chery Tiggo now, Doc, trying to pull away. How is Capital One going to answer back? Tight set. Leila makes do. Cess. Well, that's going to be a point for the Solar Spikers. Ref saying 4 touches. Chery Tiggo will call for a challenge.
They're adamant that there was a block touch with that hitting attempt by Robles.
So this is a very, very crucial challenge for both these teams. Now, obviously, we can see that all the momentum is on the side here for Chery Tiggo. It has carried over from that 4th set. Capital One trailing behind by 3 points. They need to find their footing in the 5th if they want that first win. But Chery Tiggo, Aragalang is doing everything they can to secure that lead. Again, thank you everybody for joining us, whether that's on One Sports, on One Sports Plus, or on Filipinas Live. Whether you're enjoying this match from the comforts of your own home, you're on the road, at work, maybe in school. But before that, let's take a look at this. Okay, there clearly was Clearly was a block touch.
It's going to be a replay.
Scoreboard reads 7-4.
Still a 3-point lead.
Great defense from Galang. Dapple from the back row, popped up by Iris as they send it to Leila. Great save. Leila again, changing her approach. Very, very smart move from Cruz. Point number 19, done and dusted.
Yes, indeed. After a couple of digs from her power attacks, just rolling it over the blocker as the defense was spread out.
They are down by 2. They go for the push. Ara. Orindain, babalik. So Solar Spikers, they go to Niegos. Just the set that she wanted from Iris Solenada.
Just like that, Solar Spikers are within 1.
Norman sensing this, will off the call for time, gather everybody and have a little chat.
Wait, pasa muna tayo, pasa muna. Hanggat kayang itaas muna ang bola, itaas ha. Naintindihan? Go, sige, sige, kaya yan.
Let's go.
Laban, 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 laban.
Laban lang yung dulo. Let's go. Come on, right here.
Advantage pa tayo, advantage pa tayo. Ha?
Come on, come on, come on.
Character, girls, character.
Go, attitude, Chery! On top!
Go, go, side out, ha?
Character, ang sabi ni Coach Norman Miguel, and that is going to be what's tested sa Chery Tiggo Crossovers. Not only them, but also the Capital1 Solar Spikers. They're down by just a single point. And what a way to kickstart your All-Filipino conference, right? Wow, what an unfortunate error for...
Because actually, a few minutes ago, you can really see the frustration settling in as this gets more intense, but they're faced by a very well-coached Chery Tiggo team with Vicar and Joy Micagandes, smarter sets. Alina is running a critical offense for Chery Tiggo, staying calm under pressure. And sabi nga niya, nasa control lang. Kung magtutulungan sila, kayang ipanalo pa yan. Kailangan din nilang manatiling kalmado. But you know, right now, Chery Tiggo really isn't backing down any minute now. But will Capital1 rise to the occasion? Well, the 5th set will decide that all. Back to you, Billy and Coach Doc AJ.
Pwede rin naman, Coach. But thank you so much for that.
I am actually actively,
he is. Yeah, so
by profession also, Coach.
you are not wrong, Lex. You got it. Back to this game, however, it is proving to be a very, very exciting one. Doc AJ, I mean, take a look at that score. 9-7 with Chery Tiggo in the lead. At this point, it can go both ways.
Can definitely, but if Chery Tiggo gets another one, that could be like the momentum builder that they are really looking to close in this match.
So what is Capital going to do? Heather Ginoo! Nothing. They go to Dapol. Take a look at the Capital1 Solar Spikers. Everything on the line for this squad. They are down by a single digit. Down the stretch, it's gonna be all about composure for these two teams who can hold their own. Abby Maraño. It goes back to Chery Tiggo. They go to Aragalang. Ginoo. What a game. Clear side, 9-all. Pure hard work for these two teams. Take a look at this.
3 out of 5 here in set number 5. Struggled a little bit in set number 4, but now she's back.
12 points for Heather Ginoo. Aragalang. Ginoo. Chance to regroup for Chery Tiggo. They go to Dapol. Good defense from the back. It's still alive. Tolenada bump set to Heather. Opportunity for Dapol. Ginoo again. What a rally for both teams. Ooh. Galang, the veteran that she is, just spotting that donut hole in the defense of Capital 1. Take a look at this.
If I remember correct, she also did that same move around third set. Just easy over, but making a point out of it.
One-point lead for Chery Tiggo. Make that a 2-point lead. What a service ace from the team captain, Abby Maraño. Capital 1, Coach Roger calls for time.
Ba't walang kumuha ng bola doon? Ipak, pagka ganun, huwag kang bumuka rito. Bumaba ka lang. Eh, bumuka ka rito. Siyempre, tatlo kayo dyan. Bumuka ka rito. Magbubutas ng malaki. Tayo mag-okay. Lamang na sila ng dalawa dyan eh.
Kaya yan natin.
Ha?
Tara, trabaho tayo.
Kumuli natin, ha?
Kaya. Sa isa lang. Let's go. Capital 1! Isa pa.
And you heard it, the Capital 1 Solar Spikers are going to take it 1 point at a time. On the side of Chery Tiggo, however, they're up by 2, but it is not a comfortable lead at all, especially at this point in this match. Leila Cruz has been playing spectacular this whole game. 19 big points. Chang Abi with that service ace will settle for a good one. 1-2 play. Good save from Maraño. Tolenada to Ipak, single block. Dapol. What a performance from Dapol, coming off the bench, proving to be that spark plug for Coach Norman Miguel. 7 points for her.
Good read in the part of Dapol, anticipating that running attack from Ipak. Much needed breathing room. 3-point lead.
Exactly right. Ginoo. Galang. She'll try one more time. Still no go for Ara. They set it over to Dapol on the other side. Good cover from Leila. Oh, they're gonna call that outside. Medyo manipis para kay Heather Ginoo. Dangerous waters here for the Solar Spikers. But really clawing their way back was the Chery Tiggo Crossovers. Oh, that's gonna be a service error for Abby Maraño. 3-point, a chance given to Capital 1.
Still giving a little bit of life to the Solar Spikers with that attack, or with that service error rather.
And anything can happen. Galang. Cruz. It goes back to Capital 1. Great hustle from Chery Tiggo. Chance here for the blue shirts. They go to Ginoo. Ara, soft touch. Good cover from Roma. They go to Leila Cruz. Leila Cruz answers the call.
Still alive here, the Solar Spikers. Now just within 2.
Kailangan may coverage lang tayo sa ilalim. Spikers, sige ha!
Marunong mag-back quick si Ara. Dalawang back quick. Bato mo kayo dito. Automatic naman pag walang pasa.
Pasa muna.
Atin to, Chery! On top!
Atin to, says Chery Tiggo Crossovers. But De La Cruz, the rest of the Capital1 Solar Spikers standing in their way. 2-point ball game. Iris to serve. Double. Ginoo. That was a sharp one. They go to Dapol again. And Dapol puts Chery Tiggo at match point. A true test also for this young Capital1 team. Substitutions for Coach Norman. Brings in Pauline Gaston. Extra coverage at the net. Galang will serve. That's a good serve! And of course, that's how Ara's going to end it.
She ended the set number 4
Simple and effective.
and ended set number 5.
And we see a trend here. Doc AJ, the Chery Tiggo Crossovers overcome the Capital1 Solar Spikers with that finishing touch by none other than Ara Galang. 23 big points for first game here in our All-Filipino Conference. Hats off definitely for both our teams. An amazing game through and through. Go ahead, Doc.
What a showing by both teams. Capital1 Solar Spikers showing that even in the All-Filipino Conference, they're no longer a pushover team, giving Chery Tiggo even run for their money in some instances here in this match. As we can see, 25-20, 23-25, 25-20. It's only set 4 that was really when one team really broke off with a big lead. But Chery Tiggo Crossovers building up from that momentum from set number 4, closing in the set number 5 and eventually their first win of the All-Filipino Conference.
And right now, Doc AJ, our player of the game, I'm sure you can all guess who it is with Lexi Rodriguez. Go ahead, Lex.
Thanks, Billy and Doc AJ. I am with the player of the game from the Chery Tiggo Crossovers, none other than Ara Galang with 23 points off of 18 attacks, 4 blocks, and an ace. Ara, congratulations. Gusto ko lang itanong unang-una sa lahat, gaano ka-importante, how important is it that you guys had to, set this kind of tone to start this long conference with a win?
Siyempre, kailangan namin mag-ipon ng mga panalo. So, good thing, nakapitan namin to kahit na 5 sets. Pero at least nakita namin kung paano kami maglaro together.
And nasabi mo nga yung tungkol sa paano kayo maglaro all together, especially with the guidance of Coach Norman. And nakita ko naman kanina kahit si Coach Kung Fu, tumutulong pa din on the sidelines. Ang dami yung mga insights na makukuha from them. Ano yung mga bagay na yun na sa tingin mo nakapagpatulong sa panalo nyo ngayon?
Yun nga, collective effort kami hindi lang yung 6 na sa loob ng court. Magandang bagay na nagbibigay ng perspective tsaka strategies yung mga nasa labas, coaches and teammates. So, yun, maganda lang na nag-work.
If merong isang bagay that you would say or describe the Chery Tiggo right now, ano yun and ano yung dapat namin i-expect for this All-Filipino Conference this 2025?
Yun, yung collective effort. Yun po.
Congratulations again to you. Meron ka bang mga gustong batiin, the family, friends, the fans of the Chery Tiggo Crossovers?
Yes po. Siyempre, binabati ko yung Chery Management, Ma'am Ada and Sir Romel. Thank you po. At sa lahat ng sumusuporta sa Chery Tiggo, maraming salamat po. And sa family ko sa Pampanga, Galang, Salas, and Amutan family.
Congratulations again, Ara. And to the rest of the crossovers, they're very happy. Congratulations, Sal. Let's wrap this up, Doc AJ and Billy.
Actually, dream ko rin naman maging doctor someday. So thank you so much for that, Lexi. But there you have it. Aragalang is our player of the game, as we mentioned. And as Lexi mentioned, 23 big points for today. Amazing performances from both our squads. Now, our games on Thursday, that is November 14 at the Phil Oil Eco Oil Center at 4 p.m. We have the Galleries Tower High Risers taking on the Choco Mucho Flying Titans, to be followed by the Zeus Thunderbells versus the Akari Chargers. That is at 6:30 p.m. Very exciting games that we cannot wait to watch. Well, for One Sports, my partner, Doc AJ Pareja, Lexi Rodriguez, Direk Alneri, and all the men and women behind this production, I'm Billy Capistrano, and this has been the Premier Volleyball League, the heart of volleyball.